Hello and welcome back to the Illari pylon plot series. Today we'll be looking at Hollywood. On defense, it's pretty basic. There aren't a whole lot of places you want to put it on defense, but there are good spots to put it on defense. So let's just start it out. Unless you're poking out of here immediately, usually you do want to poke out here a bit, or your team does, but then you're going to be forced a bit back. So normally I just place it, honestly, right there. The main reason I don't place it on the bridge, that area, is because it's a lot more visible and can get broken a lot more easily compared to right there. Because that gives a lot more cover unless they're like fully pushed up and then can break it. But again, they're probably also not going to be, you know, focusing it. Since your team is going to be fronting it, you're going to be playing high ground there with the DPS, hopefully. Or if you need a backup at all, like if you need to back up and replace the pylon, just not on the shrub, but like around there, because it still keeps your main core up while not being broken from main angle at all. And it's really, well, the small roommate can get broken, but if they take high ground, they won't have as an easy of an angle to break it unless they fully step up to the edge right here. So that supports your core, supports your backline if you're playing over here a little bit, yeah. And meanwhile, it has cover to it, so yeah. Like I said a bit, there aren't a whole lot of spots for pylon first point. I mean, you could also place it back here if you're forced further back. Yeah, if you're forced further back and your core's right here and you're playing like in this corner, right there's an okay option. The only real issue is from this angle right here. And that's really it, or unless they're back here. Unless you can honestly play here too, keep your pylon here. That is more protected unless it's from the right angle, but then this is a little bit more your area right here. So yeah, that's also a good angle. I don't really have one for recontesting here. I mean, you could just throw it down right there, but it's not going to support you if you walk out here. It will support you if you stay in here and you can keep your whoever's contesting point up. But besides that, it's, you know, not super... it won't help you retake right there, basically.
Changing my pylon's location.
There are a lot of points for second point here, though. We can start with, if your team is playing low ground, you could just throw it right there if your tank is like playing over that angle. And if you're playing here, that can keep you up. The only real main issue is because this, and usually they are going to be walking over here at least, and from over here, they have a big angle on it. That's usually why I like to play high ground over here, and just usually throw it like over there or over there. Because right here, yes, it can get broken from if people walk up, but you're going to be playing high ground, you're going to be forcing them off high ground. You can use your LB to knock them off high ground. You will have multiple people playing there, and, you know, they're probably not going to walk up on you immediately, or if they do, that's going to keep you up. But if they do all walk on you, you could just place it there, but that is weaker from main angle. If you're forced back a bit more, honestly, you can slap it right there. It will support your core up here. And that's really about it, unless you're playing like right here, and that will keep you up. But besides that, it won't really help your backline that much. But it will keep your core up, just making you be able to not pay as much attention to them because, you know, another healing source. Moving further back, Here you can place it. It's not exactly a great spot, but if you're being pushed this far back, this will just, you know, stall a bit more and keep them from pushing a bit longer. Honestly, this supports your core up to right here. And honestly, it does support your backline a bit more because they aren't able to walk on you as much with your core being right in front of them. Meanwhile, this can, you know, support you and or another support if you're playing that far back. Otherwise, let's go to high ground real quick. Because high ground is really where she excels. You can honestly, main reason I place it there instead of over here is because that has no line of sight from over here. This still has line of sight to back here, but if you need to, you can just place it like right there, I guess, but it doesn't have as much cover as opposed to getting stuck on there. But that is a really good angle because it allows you to poke, allows your team to poke from the bridge area right here, from over here, there's no way, from the ledge over here. It can also, I mean, if you need to move it back so you can recontest, you can place it over there. So, yeah, that's good for high ground. Now, if you're pushed further back, honestly, place it right there. Main reason I don't place it on this angle or any of that is because the off angle of it being broken is pretty easy. So if you just throw it, you know, higher, it has a much less chance of it being broken. And it also gives support to this off angle over here. Not a whole lot, so you could move it to however you want, but this supports your core the most, while also kind of supporting you back here and your off angle over here. Now for the recontest on point. You could honestly just throw it up here because it's not going to be broken. They're not going to be, well, I don't think they should be pushing you this far in because it's your spawn. You're going to be looking for a recontest. Yes, they'll probably have someone at the doorway, but they're probably not going to be having someone past the doorway. Because if they're past the doorway, you can just pick them off. It will take some time to pick them off, but you can pick them off in recontest point. So, yeah, that second point. Alright, moving on to third point. It's also pretty basic. I usually don't like playing this far up, mainly because their spawn is literally right there, plus they're gonna get up to here basically immediately. So you, and a reason I don't like placing it right there is because this angle is way too common for it to be placed up there. So the last point is a bit of a struggle for defense, at least, to have your pylon getting constant uptime. So there are really only like two main spots that I like placing it that don't get broken often. One is right here. It supports your core over here a little bit over here as well, but mainly it supports your core and whoever decides to play the small room over here too. So you could be sitting here supporting, or you could be, you know, damaging with your core, whatever, doing whatever. Or you could place it, you know, pretty basic back here. The only main issue is from the top angle that you would ever need to look out for. Ugh. I can't speak English. Okay. But this supports your core back here, and it's gonna be really pushed far back and doesn't really help your backline a whole lot. Here's another good spot if you're looking for a recontest or fighting for point. This supports your backline entirely. Like, it supports all the way to about right here.
Over here.
So that's good, you know. Meanwhile, it supports a little bit up here. But this, you know, just makes it to where your backline and you guys won't take that much damage or get picked off immediately when you walk out of spawn. The only main issue from it is just if they walk up to here. But besides that, that's really it.
Repositioning pylon.
I can go over a few spots right now and tell you why I don't necessarily like them, because I only gave you like 3 spots for defense. But like, you could place it up here if you're playing like poking out. That is a good spot to put it, but if anyone pushes up a bit too far, or like up there, they're gonna break it. Yes, they'll probably be looking at your core, but it's also very vulnerable to breaking it. Another real reason I don't like placing it over there. Very weak to this angle. And not as much over here, but it's very weak to the left side over there. So, yeah, that's all I really have for third point on this map. So, yeah, I'll see you on attack. All right, now we are on to attack. So you can see we're already at the bridge area, the arch area, because there's not really a spot to put it before that, I believe. I mean, you could place it right here while your team is moving up, and that's the only reason why you would put it here is because that area is not really a good place to put it right now. Like, they have a DPS over here that can break it easily, or, you know, it's just being pressured a little bit if you're being pressured a little back if you need to get more stable. So you want to throw it right there for that. But after you get stable, you want to cycle it to, like, over here. Honestly, that's a really good place to put it, because unless they're right up against the wall, they can't really have an angle to shoot it. Or unless they fully walk out here, they can't shoot it. So that also supports your core right here, and any off angle that takes over here, and a little bit of your backline back here if you're wanting to duel with the high ground. But if you're pushed up a bit more and they're forced back more, if they're forced back like over there, you can just throw it like right about there. Unless if they have someone playing over here or people playing over here, honestly, I move it like back over there. Yes, it doesn't support your core a whole lot, but that also provides support for you to play back a little bit, supports your backline a lot more. It also, you know, lets you walk high ground with it. And then you can throw it, like, honestly, there. The only real issue with that is from their high ground and the stairs area, but, you know, besides that, that's a good spot because you're going to be poking down to them. They won't be able to, you know, see your pylon. They're going to be shooting you and your core if they're playing low ground or whatever. It'll just be, you know, giving you a lot more uptime to do healing and or damage. If they are forced a bit back a bit more, there's honestly a fun spot. Only main issue is over here, but besides that, that's a really fun spot. They have no angle from high ground really, unless they fully peek out, like right about here. Or if they have a full... Well, they can see a little bit of it, but they need to be about right here for them to actually break it. But, you know, your core area is going to be, like, contesting, fighting here. Your backline's going to be, like, maybe a bit back here or over here. So, yeah, that's just a decent spot to put it. Otherwise, if you push them further back, if you push them further back and you're trying to take first point, but they're recontesting, that's honestly a fine spot to put it. If they go high ground, they're going to be looking at you, not the pylon. They're going to be forcing you to get off high ground. If they are walking out, yeah, it will be broken pretty easily, but again, they'll be trying to get you off point. And if they look away, you know, if they're like a Malga or Queen, they need to look at you to get healing, or, you know, to get lifesteal, you know. So that's a fine spot to put it. Now, moving on to second point. Now we're moving on to second point. For second point, there are a lot of spots to put it. You know, pretty basic. You could just honestly throw it down there for now because you're going to be forced to move the cart through this doorway and that will keep your core up, meanwhile supporting your backline, you know, while it's not being destroyed. Main reason I don't place it on that angle is because they can see it from over here if they're playing low ground, and they can't really see the other angle as much, even if they're playing high ground over here. Yeah, nothing. However, if you push up a bit more, you can honestly throw it down about right there for now if they're playing high ground, because they won't be able to see it at all playing high ground. If you're pushing up even more, honestly right there is a great spot to put it. The hay bales cover it basically so it doesn't get destroyed at all. Meanwhile, it supports all the way up to here. It supports all the way back here for whoever's playing back here. But if you want to push high ground, if people are high ground over there, you could just throw it like right about there. It has no real weaknesses because they won't be able to see it from their high ground. I mean, they'll know that you'll be getting healed, and unless they retake with the elevator, they won't be able to see it and or like break it. Unless they have a movement ability like over here to get up there, or on the other side over here. But this covers it a little bit, but yes, you can shoot through it. Moving on for low ground, if you move them further back a bit more, honestly, there aren't a whole lot of spots if they're playing like right about here without your pylon being destroyed, because you could throw it right here. It's not that good of a spot. They're going to see it. You could, you know, throw it right here. That's an spot. They're going to see it pretty easily. Oh, I didn't even know Outburst broke the barrels. No, yeah. They're going to see that pretty easily. So you want to push up a bit more until you can place it behind there. And that's an okay spot to put it, unless they're forced this far back. But then when they're forced that far back, you can just, again, cycle it to over here. To where, yeah, they aren't able to see it at all, unless they're playing over here. But if they are, you can just scooch it a bit to the left so they can't see it at all. Let's go back to high ground for a little bit. If you're moving high ground and you're playing over here, this high ground, and they have no enemies on this area, you can honestly just throw it here. They're not going to be on that high ground over there. This is their area that you just captured. The only area that you have to worry about is hearing them retake with the elevator. But if they do, you have your outburst, just knock them off. Or if you just want to get them out immediately with that DPS, you can just focus them and get them out. But besides that, this won't be destroyed by main at all. Even from their high ground over here, they won't be able to see it and destroy it at all. So that's a really good spot just for the uptime that it gives you and healing that it provides to you and your core, and just allows them to do a lot more without needing as much attention or downtime. Now, if you move it up a bit more, if they're playing in here, honestly, I just throw it up here instead of behind the waste bin behind there, because honestly, you could put it back here, and that would support your core and your backline a bit more. But honestly, this supports the area a bit more, your core area a bit more. And it just provides a bit more. I mean, if you do place it right here, yes, they won't see it when they walk out at all. But, you know, they could just walk out a bit more, break it. But personally, I like it over here more, but this isn't necessarily a bad spot to put it. Moving on to third point. Again, kind of like how I said with on defense, there weren't a whole lot of good spots to put it on defense, since there were a lot of off angles for attackers, and just the main angles for attack even breaks your pylon easily. But attack for Illari on this map is so good, because even right here is a really good spot to put it if they're dueling you. The only main issue that you'd have to worry about is over here, but I don't see a lot of off DPS playing over here. If they would be, they'd be on high ground instead. If they were on an off DPS, they'd be on the high ground. So that's already a, good thing. If you push them back even further, you can place it right there. What are they going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. They can't push up this far to break it. The off angle over here doesn't see it at all. And the high ground right there doesn't see it at all. So that supports your core and a little bit of your backline if you're playing here or over here. So that's just a really good spot to put it. Now, if they are pushed even farther back, slap it about there. The only real issue is from this angle, but, this is where you're pushed up to. I don't believe they would just willingly walk up to you right here. And it also supports if a DPS is playing over here. If, they run back, they grab mini, but they still need healing, they could just pop back for a second, get healing, and go back to, doing what they do. While it also supports your core right here. Could also... I was going to say you could throw it here, but that's not a good spot to put it because the amount of line of sight that people can see and break it. But that's really about it. I mean, you could just keep advancing it. You're going to want to place it here for last because they're not going to really pay attention to that. Even if they walk out of here, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I guess I could shoot it. And if they do shoot it and break it, whatever, you're basically at the full cap. It takes, like, a slight second away from them touching to look at it. And, I feel like that's fine. If you need to move it a bit further back, that's cool too. But that does leave it a bit more exposed to this angle. But you're going to be a lot of you will be on point, almost capping point, so they won't be necessarily looking at that. I apologize for kind of rushing through it, and there are going to be quite a bit of cuts. I don't exactly feel the greatest while making this, so I apologize for that, but yeah. Thank you for watching. That's about it. See ya.